Welcome to the fourth of 5 short videos that shows raters and HVAC installers how to measure the airflow of the HVAC fan. In this video, James and I will be showing you where to measure static pressure. This is often overlooked, and if the static pressure is measured in the wrong location, it's worthless. So don't waste your time. Do it right the first time. We'll be using the basic HVAC system again that James built for us. The static pressure value that we're looking for is called the total external static pressure. And to get that, we have to take 2 measurements, one on the return side and one on the supply side. So let's start with the return side. The static pressure has to be measured after the filter or any other add-ons that are on the return side, but before the HVAC fan. In James's system, the HVAC fan is located inside the furnace cabinet. And we've actually removed the furnace panel so you can see exactly where the fan is. So the ideal place to take the static pressure is here in the return. It's after the filter, but before the HVAC fan. And a good designer and builder will include a short run of ducts so the measurement can be taken in the right place. But what happens if they exclude this? In that case, the filter is going to be directly against the furnace. And instead, the second best place to measure it is going to be in the furnace cabinet itself. Here we see James inserting the straight static pressure probe directly into the furnace cabinet. He measures a value around 0.2 inches water column. We also had James measure the static pressure in the ideal location, here, and in the wrong place, before the filter, here. And you can see on the screen the results for all 3 locations. You can see that the values measured after the filter are pretty close to each other, while the value before the filter is very different. That one is worthless for determining airflow. You might have noticed that all 3 of these values were negative. The static pressure is negative on the return side because the return air is being pulled towards the HVAC fan. The important point, though, is that you can ignore that negative sign. What we care about is the value itself, not the sign. Now let's look at the supply side. Here the static pressure has to be measured after the HVAC fan, but before the evaporator coil or any other components like a humidifier or electric heating strips. In James's system, we already saw that the furnace has the HVAC fan in it, so the static pressure has to be measured after the fan, but before the evaporator coil, here in the riser. Now a good HVAC designer and builder will include a short transition like this, so that the static pressure can be measured at the right spot. Sometimes though, the evaporator is attached directly to the furnace cabinet, leaving no room at this location. Then what? The second best place to measure the static pressure is at the bottom of the evaporator coil, here. And here we see James inserting the straight static pressure probe directly into the evaporator cabinet through one of the screw holes. He measures a value slightly higher than 0.4 inches water column. Now we also had James measure the static pressure in the ideal location, here, and in the wrong place after the evaporator coil, here. And you can see on the screen the results for all 3 locations. You can see that the values measured before the evaporator coil are pretty close to each other, while the value after the coil is very different. This one is worthless for determining airflow. On the supply side, the numbers are positive because air is being pushed by the HVAC fan. Like the return static pressure though, what we care about is the value itself, not the sign. Now if you add the return side and supply side static pressure from the ideal locations together, that's the total external static pressure that we're looking for. And this is the second critical piece of information we need to determine whether the HVAC fan is moving the right amount of air. In this short video, you've seen why it's so important to measure static pressure in the right location. If we measure in the wrong location, we get a completely different, worthless number. Now let's move on to the 5th and final video to see how to use the static pressure we've just determined and the fan speed setting from the second video to determine the airflow of the HVAC fan.